RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. La 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 la. Although I don't think Julian has quite a snappy intro. Mind you, we already do the intro thing ahead of time, right? So don't really need to do that twice, but oh well. You know, Brian loves the sound of his own voice, and man, I love saying Daily Brief. La 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 la. Anyway. All right, welcome back to the show. It's 5 minutes past the top of the hour on the West Coast. Now we're 6 minutes past the top of the hour. And actually, I was really impressed. Oh, now 7 minutes past the top of the hour. What the hell's going on here? Anyway, super impressed with Julian's productions these days, starting even better on time than me. So congratulations, Julian, on your show yesterday. And I actually think, yeah, he's doing a really good job. So hats off to the team, TRI team. And one thing I will say, super pleased to see, Sjord has been working like a dog to get his dash back up and running and rocking and rolling. I will say, you know, those site subscribers, and maybe we should probably refrain from doing these videos on a daily basis because in the public, I keep telling you, you know, major disconnect with the breadth of the market right now. So you better be careful. And sure enough, holy moly, yesterday was an absolute disaster. What is it? Like Dow is down like 600 points or something like that. So no doubt about it, breadth indicator has been keeping us honest here. And interestingly enough, you know, in a lot of previous sort of moves higher, things like Nvidia could, you know, come out with great earnings and everybody would be happy with the market and it would zoom higher. But at the same time, too, we had those Fed minutes come out. And I tell you, I was even barking the other day on Twitter saying, and by all means, if anybody knows about this, somebody shared this on the site. And of course, I have a son who suffers terribly from autism. So somebody was saying that this treatment was actually pretty interesting and maybe you should look into it. So I put a tweet out there. If you are familiar with this, or you know, if you follow my Twitter feed, some people were giving me some really cool feedback. So I think I might have a chat with the team and see if we can maybe take a chance and do a little bit of this and see if it makes a difference for Lily. So thank you, everybody, in that regard. Nothing really to do with the market, more to do with my life or Lily's life. I did have actually a really good afternoon with him yesterday. Went for a long car ride. He loves his car rides. And we had our McDonald's and we listened to music and we sang songs together. So it was a good day. But I was putting out messages and I can't believe how accurate this was because it freaking pisses me off. I was in the most beautiful, cutest little short, right? He had even the little artistic drawings. I mean, it was a perfect level. And I euchred myself out of the short with a small profit, nothing to write home about. And yet the market just absolutely puked out following the Fed minutes. So this played out almost absolutely textbook. And I couldn't believe how cliche this was. Anyway, how's the volume going? Maybe it's when I go up and down octaves. Is that what kills it, Chris? All right, cool. We've been having some issues with the microphones. I don't know whether it's, what do they call it? Like shadow banning or something. I would imagine the powers that be were like, Jesus, we got to muffle that Beamish guy. So, but who knows? My apologies ahead of time if the audio cuts in and out. I mean, we're just trying the best we can. Look at the team even bought me. Look at this fancy schmancy microphone on a stand and everything. Actually, maybe that would make a better video. I'll just talk to you like that. How's it going, guys and girls and house plans? Anyway, just Brian being stupid. So I had cautioned, I had warned that we might just find that as we come into this Fed minutes meetings release, which was, I guess, yesterday. Maybe no, it was the day before. It was very late in the day before. You might just find that the whole market just pukes out. And sure enough, that's literally exactly what happens. I hate when I'm, absolutely perfect with the analysis, but my execution just sucks horse, what. It drives me nuts. Anyway, it's a trader's life. Get used to it. If anything, I'm probably one of the only guys on the interneting that'll show you my failings as well as my triumphs. So I suppose now this is interesting because what I think I've done here, which is fascinating, is I even put a tweet out after the after the fact, saying, "My God, this is one hell of a trade level." So pay attention to this, folks. We had, and this is a bit off topic because usually we go through a little bit of a cadence here. At least I'm trying to. You can see over on the left-hand side of the screen, we're supposed to be talking about breadth, or I guess the right-hand side of the screen. Sorry. What do we got here? Breadth data. So we talked a little bit about that just a moment ago. The breadth indicator was warning everybody that there was trouble coming, whether you listen to it or not. What should eventually end up happening here once we get our act together and this system is humming along the way it's supposed to. We should actually get to the point where we're kind of like, people are like anticipating what the breadth is telling us, because this indicator is freaking awesome. It's taken us forever to get it up and running. But anyway, so as we said, breadth not looking very happy. What I do find fascinating about this image, though, and this correction might take quite a while to play out, is you notice that the country funds are still heavily embedded on the bull side. Now, maybe with today's update, we might find that the rest of the world sort of catches up. But interesting how in the short term, everything went just absolute puke out disaster. And the cool part about what we do at TRI is, of course, we have all these screeners like key reversals. You're not going to hear anybody else in the market talk to you about key reversals. And Chris was even pointing out, hey, did you see there was a huge key reversal on stocks like AMD? And I said, well, let's see if the system told us. And boom, there you go. Merry Christmas. Big fat outside downside key reversal. What I like to do, and I will be working on this, and actually, cool, you can see nice double top breakdown there on RSI. So, you could argue this is a price structure and momentum indicator. So really, it's just a question of, was this a half decent trade location? If it was, well, then we probably got a half decent trade set up there. Anyway, I'll be working on that over the coming sessions. It's taken us a while to get back to the point where we actually have this signaling system operating. So big shout out to Sjord. I big shout out to Sjord, because Sjord's got like 2 or 3 hats going at TRI right now. I suppose we could talk about that in the after party. Because he's also, I'll just give you a shill here. He's been working away on getting the portfolios. We have a number of different crypto portfolios running, and it's taken a while to get the correct data processing. And actually, you can see here's my little old lady portfolio. We started with 10 G's, balance now sitting at about 24. So we're kicking butt, taking 14 G's from the market. And the worst part about this, and this is just from Brian because he's an idiot, I actually had $3,000 stolen from me out of this account. So really the balance here is about 27, 28,000. So this portfolio is kicking butt, I got to say. And if anything, what I have to do is I have to get in here and I have to start adding to positions now that this stuff's working its way back down. And this is even including absolute disastrous investments. Like I made an investment in Ubic. And if anything, this is the reason why you do the little old lady portfolio, is you can actually handle stuff going to zero, and yet you still are making some pretty good money. Having your money stolen from you, I don't know if we work that into the plan or not, but welcome to DeFi. Drive you crazy. Anyway, so Sjord's got that up and running. Super cool. And of course, at the same time, Sjord's got his absolutely incredible kick-ass fundamental analysis portfolio. We're still humming and hawing about whether we want to actually show you the dollar balances. You just need to understand that we've put a lot of money into this portfolio, like hundreds of thousands. So the question ultimately is, do we really want to be talking about actual sizes of this portfolio? because Seward's very uncomfortable with sort of painting a target on the back of his head with the way this stupid world works. Anyway, it is what it is, but he's kicking it on here. I would like to see like percentage returns going forward. So that's a big objective for us, but he's absolutely kicking it. His render, it actually doesn't show here, which is kind of a shame, but he basically got in at like 50 cents, and you can see it's sitting at like $10 now. Just absolutely incredible performance. So Sjord's kicking it. He's bringing the system back online. Super excited, including screeners. And as you can see from this list, we had a lot of technical damage done to the market yesterday. This is just a one bar failure pattern called a key reversal. And I mean, look how many pages of key reversals there were yesterday. I mean, it was an absolute train wreck. So the breadth indicator basically gave you a major warning sign and major warning signal that trouble was brewing. And I really like that from the TRI perspective. That's the whole point of this exercise and building these tools is try and help you stay the hell out of trouble. There was major, major warning signs here that trouble was coming. As well too, I have talked to all of you, and if you don't know this, you really should learn it. If you don't have anybody who's going to teach you, maybe you ought to consider joining our education program. But intermarket analysis relationships, this is a cornerstone of good quality market information participation. I've been barking to everybody here about the disconnect with the transports and the industrials, and how this actually was a Dow theory sell signal, where the transports were breaking to new lows, but the industrials were actually breaking to new highs. Major warning sign there. And of course, if you've been watching these videos, then you should have been hip and up on all this information. And I distinctly remember talking to everybody in the broiler chickens Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you can't say that you didn't have somebody out there at least warning you that trouble was coming. And sure enough, yesterday was a big punch in the nose. Why was it a punch in the nose? Well, the problem here is that the market, of course, is a crack whore. We all know that, right? And the market is addicted to, you hear Julian talk about liquidity. He loves following his liquidity studies. And, the bottom line here is as long as, if you have stocks moving to new all-time highs, there's no way in hell the Fed is going to cut interest rates. That's an insult. I mean, that totally smacks against every principle of the market. And of course, the stock market wants rate cuts because then that, of course, two things that drive stock prices are the cost of money and what it's going to cost to keep, stay in business, especially in this debt laden slave to the banks world that we live in. And then, of course, corporate earnings, right? So, obviously the cost of money, short-term interest rates, going to have a huge bearing on how the market acts. Now, the question I would have is, if stocks are at 52-week highs, do the stock market crack addicts, do they really need more crack? I mean, if you see a crack whore running around the streets all nice and happy because she just got a fix, or he, houseplant, whatever, do you want to give them more crack then? No, if you're going to help them, right, you want to help them out when they're strung out. So, the point I would just make here is we had fairly important this Fed minutes. And you can see, and I showed you on that Bitcoin chart and all those tweets. It seems that the Fed meeting itself is the sell the rumor. Is the Fed going to cut rates? Is the Fed going to cut rates? Is the Fed going to cut rates? And then on the actual event, they didn't raise rates on us. Thank God. And actually, what I should have said there was, are they going to raise rates? Are they going to raise rates? Stock market sells off, right? Then, the Fed minutes, this is sort of like, what was the conversation at the actual previous meeting? around the table, and how many people are advocating for higher rates, how many people are advocating for lower rates, yada, yada, yada. And it turns out that when they release this, it turns out that actually there's a whole bunch of people at that table that were actually advocating for higher rates, not lower rates. Thank you, Chris. So the point being that as soon as people saw what the conversation was around the Fed minutes table, regardless of what Jerry says, because it appears to me that it's like there's a consensus at the table, the FOMC, whatever the hell that is. And then there's what Jerry thinks. And actually, it seems to me that the left hand is not talking to the right hand at all. So Jerry comes out on the Fed announcement day in that press conference and basically lies to the press corps and to the public. And then you get the Fed minutes, which are completely opposite to what he said at that press conference. It's a bit bizarre. And I've said to you guys this repeatedly. All of these Fed speakers constantly speaking, they are not doing us any favors here. And somebody should send a memo to that Jerry guy that, hey, you should tell these people to just shut the hell up. I mean, I hate to say it, Alan Blinder is the perfect example. These ivory tower economics professors, PhDs, all that stuff, they don't know how to trade and they don't know markets worth jack. I'm sorry, but it's my opinion. 35 bloody years working in the market every single day. And I teach in the level 1 course how Alan Blinder, Mr. Economics, Princeton University, laughed at Nortel Networks president because Nortel Networks president said this price action in the stock market, .com boom, this is stupidity. I'm selling my stock. I'm getting the hell out. And within 5 years, Nortel was bankrupt, out of business. Stock was worth zero. And Alan Blinder had the audacity to laugh at John Roth on CNBC on air, and I watched it with these eyes. And who was right and who was wrong. So anyway, you constantly hear that message from me. Nothing ever changes. I do not like the way that these ivory tower people are. They don't really have any skin in the game. And 9 times out of 10, they're completely wrong. Look how the Fed got that whole inflation thing utterly and staggeringly wrong. And look at the world that we live in. I would actually argue that they knew exactly what was going to happen. I've, in the after party on Wednesday, I think I went to great lengths trying to answer a question about the fear greed cycle and what these Fedsters have done, banksters, whatever, have done to our society with the hyperinflation of the money supply to save the banksters' asses because they just lent money ridiculously through that great financial crisis nonsense about a decade ago. So, point of all of this rant is FOMC minutes, when they actually released them and people saw what these banksters were actually saying around the table, it turns out that actually quite a few of them were advocating for higher short-term interest rates, not a rate cut. So what happened when the market saw that? The market absolutely puked out. And as I've told you, there were a number of warning signs that there was trouble coming, whether it be Dow theory. If you understand this, you knew not to get sucked into this euphoria. This was a trap. And then, of course, like I said, we've built this awesome technical analysis tool, and I can't wait to show you the full potential of this. I'm super, super excited. But the market breadth itself, think of the transports as part of the market, right? I think we have that. Yeah, there's the transports. I mean, they look like a train wreck right now. So there was lots of warning that trouble was coming. Okay, enough of that. As Chris sort of said, we're kind of running out of time here. So we'll pop on over and maybe take a look at this in a little bit more detail in the after party. What I would just simply say is finish off this broadcast. Always fun to take a quick boo at things like Bitcoin and you crypto fun. We did have a big fundamental event just happen there, of course, with the approval of Ethereum ETF. Now, I'm not even quite sure what the hell that even means at the end of the day, other than Wall Street, and really what we should be talking about is Whacker Street. But if you don't know what Whacker Street reference is, I won't go into that today. But I do believe that we just had sort of one of these buy the rumor, sell the news events. So you heard at the very top of the broadcast my feelings about Bitcoin. And I'm a little pissed off of myself because I euchred myself out of a really, really nice position right here. You can see I was short and all nice and happy. And, I had a part of my, a profit objective hit. And so I started trailing stops. I got stopped out like literally an hour before the damn Fed minutes meeting. And then you can see what happened afterward. Good damn sons of bitches. Anyway, now that we've gone and broken market structure here, actually, I don't mind the idea of shorting things like Mountain Man, 61.8 fibs, that kind of thing. And notice how that level 2.618 off of this double bottom that just came in right in there. And I like the idea that I'm probably going to try and just strap on this short right basically where I got out of the short previously. So we'll see how that goes. Only time will tell. The Ethereum, I think that this was an absolute classic by the rumor. And then, like I just said there a moment ago, I mean, now what? I mean, has anything actually changed with the fundamental story on Ethereum? I don't think so. I do think that this is a trading range, and you can see if I come in here at 2.618, 78.6s, tests of old highs, all that kind of fun stuff, and just simply risk to new highs and look to take profits at 2 to 1. I'm not even asking for this trading range to be broken. All I want to see is the market come back down, test the lows. I'll move my stop to scratch at 50%. I'm not going to really trail stops. You saw what happened there with Bitcoin. I'll just live with the results. If I get stopped at scratch, so be it. And if I'm lucky, I'll let one go here at my 2 to 1 objective, keep the stop at scratch and just see where the hell the wind blows. And if this turns into some massive double top, then I'm basically short from the top of the market. So we switched our happy little shorts from Bitcoin, and I'm really pissed off at myself for euchering myself out of that really, really good trade. Did make a little bit of money on the trade, so it's not like it was a loss. But now I'm in happy little shorts in Ethereum. So let's see what happens. Only time will tell. And unfortunately, with this kind of backdrop, with both Bitcoin looking kind of heavy and with Ethereum kind of looking heavy right now, I'm not really in a big hurry to do anything too dramatic. And if anything, with that whole NVIDIA nonsense and stuff, I've actually been really happy with just sitting on the sidelines, just biding my time. I've told you guys repeatedly, I still think that the market should bottom somewhere, let's call it middle of June. So could we have like a couple weeks here of trough here before we set up into the summer silly season? I absolutely think so. I don't see any reason not to think that. I mean, this could just stay as a trading range through this 2 or 3 week window. Give me my 2 to 1, stops at scratch. We put in a nice base here and we get ready for another move higher through the summer. And then, I don't know whether you've been hearing, but it turns out that the scuttlebutt is that China would like to officially launch its invasion for Taiwan by June 1st. That's what the rhetoric is. I don't know whether there's any validity to it or not. So China has now gone and blockaded Taiwan. I think to a certain degree, add, of course, the Fed minutes into the equation. Maybe if we're lucky, we're hearing a little bit of toning down of the overt sort of pounding the table kind of conversations. Taiwan itself, they elected a new leader, and the new leader said, China, go fuck yourself. And of course, China said, excuse me, what did you just say? And so now they've blockaded the island. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. It is interesting how we've had a lot of celestial people say that, the shit's supposed to hit the fan here in May of 2024. So wouldn't it be appropriate that like through the Memorial Day holiday weekend, we actually find out that China officially launches its invasion of Taiwan, catch the Americans sort of sleeping. I don't know. Who knows? You can't predict the future, so we'll see what happens. Having said that, I mean, we are definitely in tumultuous times. A lot of our internal measures, internal breadth indicators and stuff, Dow theory, all that kind of stuff was just flashing major warning signs. So, do we really need to be heroes here right now? You can see our crypto breadth also is not really overly happy right now. I don't think so. I mean, look at these images. Does that look like, hey, this is a look at all the W's? I don't see any W's here. So I'm not really going to be in a big hurry to go and buy anything right now. So, all right. There's your wrap for Friday. My apologies if I couldn't give you a overtly bullish message. I just call a spade a spade. If anything, maybe take a little solace. I tried to short crude oil here this morning, day trader, it's a trader's life, all that kind of fun stuff. Took a short shot against this top here. Market was moving in my direction. 50% of the anticipated move was traded to. So I had to move my stop to scratch, and I got stopped at scratch. And now I'm just sitting on the sidelines. So anyway, it's a trader's life. Being so late on a Friday with Monday being a holiday, and of course the absolute insanity around the world. I heard some European, well, maybe not European, some bureaucratic body officially ordered Israel to halt invading Gaza. What? Who are these people? So it's a screwy world we're in right now. And the last thing in the world I really want to be heading into this weekend with what could potentially happen there in the Taiwanese Straits. Of course, Vladdy still being a jerk there in Eastern Europe. Israel's still a mess. Do I really want to be overly short crude oil through this holiday weekend? Not really. So I didn't mind. I took my short shot. I got stopped at scratch. And now I'm just sort of twiddling my thumbs and getting ready to give you people some good quality and edutainment, we'll call it, for your viewing pleasure. All right. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins a race. Don't take no wooden nickels. All the best and bye for now. Uh-oh. There's an M.